Okay.
All set. Okay, good morning, everybody. I'm Michael Adams, Secretary of State and Chair of the State Board of Elections. This is the State Board of Elections meeting, October 18th, 10 a.m. First, we're going to recognize everybody calling the roll. I'll start with the members attending in person here in Frankfort. Member Lewis.
Good morning. James Lewis, retired county clerk, Leslie County.
Ms. Bullard.
Corey Skolnick, member Jefferson County.
And then I'll go clockwise from Member Johnson.
Jerry Johnson, member of from Franklin County.
Member Brangers.
Deanna Brangers, member Jefferson County.
Member Sears.
Good morning, Dwight Sears, member, Pulaski County.
Changed on me. Member Lane.
Good morning. I'm Lynn Lane, retired clerk from Ballard County.
And he was center square, but he's been moved now. Member Chandler.
Ben Chandler, I'm a member from Woodford County. Nice to see everybody.
I think I just dated myself with the center square reference, but that's okay. Well, we have a quorum, and by the way, go ahead and get started. By request, we're going to, for the moment, table item number 2 and skip ahead to item number 3, ratification or approval of additional precinct officers. Would you take that for us, Karen?
Thank you. We have 2 counties that have made requests for additional precinct officers for the November 8th election. The first is Boone County. It is for ratification. They have requested 1 precinct officer for each of their 48 precincts. All of these precinct workers would either be deputy clerks or deputy sheriffs from the sheriff's office. They would, be available to assist at the polls and at the closing of the polls. That one is for ratification. The second is Adair County. Theirs is for approval. They are requesting 1 election officer for 1 precinct and 2 additional election officers for 6 of their precincts in Adair County. That one would be for approval. So I will move to the chairman, and if you would like to take those separately or have any questions regarding any of the county's additional precinct officer requests.
Are there any questions or comments? If not, we'll entertain a motion for ratification for Boone and approval for Adair.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Ayes have it. Number 4, ratification or approval of emergency precinct officers, Graves and Adair.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Graves County is a request for emergency precinct officers. It is for ratification. They are requesting 3 officers for 1 precinct, 2 officers for 1 precinct, and 1 officer for another single precinct. Graves County has made every effort to recruit Democratic workers, but have not been able to recruit enough to service all of their precincts. So they are requesting approval for emergency precinct officers, requesting registered Republicans be sworn in and serve as Democrat in each of these 3 precincts with the additional workers. Adair County, same thing for approval. They are requesting 1 officer for 5 precincts and 2 officers for 2 of their precincts. And again, they are requesting they would have a Republican or an independent serving as a Democrat and be sworn in that way. The Adair is for approval. So I will move to the chairman to take that if anyone has any questions.
Any questions or comments? If not, do we have a motion to ratify Graves and approve Adair?
So moved.
Member Sears, second.
Second.
Member Branger seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Moving right along, do we have Rachel here with us for a financial update? Hey, Rachel.
Good morning. I just really had a few things that we wanted to touch on in the financials, just some things that might have stood out. On page 14, under postage, there is a $76,467,000 charge. That is for the postage for the EBU mailers that went out, which is part of the ERIC requirements. And I am not the person to talk about what the EBU mailers are. So if Richard or Taylor wants to jump in and say what those are, that would be more beneficial.
Eligible but unregistered. Postcards that go out to the voters identified that might be eligible but are for whatever reason unregistered in the state. So it's just a notification to those voters that if they'd like to register, these are the steps take to register.
So that charge did hit our general operating expenses. We asked for, we did have an additional budget request in our last biennial budget for list maintenance, and those costs are going to come out of that line item list maintenance request. On page 15, you're going to see a lot of county payments. The effective date for most of our MOAs that you guys have been approving hit during that period, September 1st and September 15th. So those are the payouts to the counties for those. And then Richard and I have been communicating with the Department of Homeland Security and Lexington Fayette County Urban Government about the grant that would provide funding for the Cradle Point devices. And I'll let Richard speak a little bit to give an update since that is a financial piece.
Okay. We've made contact with Fayette County government and everything looks good. And they are going to be able to use master agreements with the state. It will speed the RFP it'll void the RFP process, I guess is what I could say. So that will move the process along so we can have everything in place by next May. So that all Cradle Points will be in place by May so that Fayette County can get their reimbursement before the grant runs out. So
That's great. And we don't need to vote on that per se, right?
no, I don't think so. I think
Okay.
we've got everything and they're in the process of putting the language that we requested into the contract. So that into the agreement. So, not contract.
Yes.
Right. And identifies State Board of Elections as the entity.
As the project manager.
Right.
That's all I have. That's the only few things that are outside our normal operating from month to month.
And remind me, do we vote to incorporate these, approve these?
We vote to approve,
Approve.
just to set up for adjustment.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
Hopefully.
Member Lewis, we have a second.
Yes,
Second.
I second the motion. Go ahead.
Member Skolnick beat you to the punch. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Very good. Okay. Yes,
I
sir.
have a question. It's not related to approval of this, but are we getting any type of, are we tracking any type of success with this mailing of the eligible but not registered voters? Percentage wise, I mean, is this good use of money or not? I mean, are the numbers are going to tell us that, I assume.
Problem with that is we can't tell if James Lewis registered to vote because he got a postcard or because his wife nagged him. And
Well, that's true, I know that, but you can track, I assume, the postcard and I registered later and assume that the postcard had something to do with it. I mean, that way the percentage is certainly probably going, maybe a little higher than what the actual response by the registration was initiated.
I don't think we have Tom on here today, but that's I would imagine, they're so good at things that I just imagine they can do everything.
Well, I do too,
But
Yeah.
maybe I imagine things that's not so.
I would imagine that they could probably run some kind of analysis to trace things.
I think it might be wise for that to happen. Of course, taking $6,000, we're only getting a few thousand, 2,000 registrations, that may not be best use of money.
Can I speak to that real fast? So this is not a discretionary act that the board decided to engage in. This is something that we're required to do because we belong to ERIC, and the ERIC board is in a position that to be a member of ERIC, you can do this. However, the ERIC board is now reconsidering that. Basically, of course, this precedes all of us being here, but when ERIC came together, the thought was, well, we'll require states to practically go out there and try to find people to register, and then we'll also help them clean up their roles. And so there was a little bit, if you will, each side of the equation. But that's not really the mission of ERIC, and so there's been a reassessment going on recently within the ERIC board about getting rid of the EB mailers and just focusing on rural maintenance. So for the moment, we have to do it, but it may be that we're released from that obligation. We can stop.
So that would be, as you call it. Momentarily let that lapse in my mind, but yeah, well, it's good that they're real data. Do track it, find out it may not be proven.
Well, we the board just released yesterday. Actually, I picked up at midnight this morning that we had roughly 20,000 voters register, which is great. It's a big number, but we spent $76,000. So my view is it's not a wise expense, but as long as we have to do it, we'll do it. And so Karen and I will be assessing with the ERIC board whether we just want to let that requirement lapse for all our states.
Do you know from previous, before Eric made an sensitive, how many registered voters you would have? Basically the same time frame. In other words, how many actually?
And I've made a note of that, and I'll check with Tom. And to your point about the registered voters, also that happened this month was National Voter Registration Day.
Mm-hmm.
And we had significant hits to our website, and that was not necessarily related to the EB. So Tom and them were able to track that. So we can check with, see if there's any opportunity to track from this perspective as well.
I think if the board were to decide we want to spend X amount of money on promoting registration, there would be more efficient ways to do that that would have bigger success than doing a massive one like this. No, great question. Thanks.
Good.
Number 6, review of and vote on MOA for election security fund reimbursements to counties that purchase voting equipment. Russell County with 16 precincts is eligible for $40,000, which is what they requested. Robertson County with 5 precincts is eligible for $12,500, which is what they requested. Edmonson County with 8 precincts is eligible for $20,000, which they requested. Karen, do you have anything to add to that?
Not much to add. We bring this every month. Rachel has collected all the documentation that we need in an effort to get this approved today and move forward with an MOA and get their reimbursement to them. Rachel, do you have anything to add?
No, these are consistent with the other MOAs that we have put forth to the board for approval.
Okay.
Ask for approval.
Any questions, comments? If not, we'll take a motion.
So move.
Member Johnson with the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Member Lane with the second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All in opposition, say no. Ayes have it. Well, we're moving pretty quick. We've got next on the agenda, Jason Denny with KCCA. He is not logged on with us yet, so we'll skip that and come back to it if he logs on. Next is Executive Director.
Well, I don't have a lot to report this month, other than the most important thing is we are 20 days away from the general election. I know that the clerks and State Board of Elections, Secretary of State's office, we are all working to make sure that the elections are conducted with the utmost integrity and security as we can possibly manage. Our IT team has been providing trainings, as has SBE at past clerk meetings. We're also recording some trainings so the clerks can also watch them after hours or share with their other deputies in the office. The election night reporting, that will be ready to collect the data from the clerks at the close of the polls on November 8th. We've been working with Secretary of State's office to make sure that that is ready to roll, as has our IT team has put a lot of effort into that as well. One of the things I want to mention that I think is important is SBE, our IT team, and I'm sure the Secretary of State's office as well. We get hundreds of calls and emails every day, particularly our IT team, because their email address is at the absentee portal as well as registration. And the public, our voters, Kentuckians, are asking questions. If they have any issue, we respond to hundreds of emails and phone calls every day, because our most important effort right now is to ensure that all of Kentucky understands the voting process and what they need to do, where their polling location is, how to get an absentee ballot. So I'm very proud of everyone that participates in that process. And I'm sure it will be even more to come in the next 20 days. But the other thing to remember for the public, and maybe the chairman was also going to mention this as well, is Tuesday, the 25th of October is the last day to request an online absentee ballot through the portal. The next day, beginning on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then the following Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, which is the 26th of October through the 28th, and then Wednesday, the 31st, Halloween, plus November 1st and 2nd, by statute is a 6-day excused absentee voting, which in the majority of the counties will take place at the county clerk's office. After that, beginning on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday is our in-person, no excuse voting. And those polling locations are all posted either to your county clerk's website. We also have them posted on SBE's website. And again, we will take calls. You can send us an email. We'll be happy to get back with any Kentuckian there. And of course, we have November 8th, Tuesday, November 8th, open from 6 to 6 local time. And we encourage everyone to get out and vote. If you do want to check your registration, polling location on your own, you can go to our website at govote.ky.gov. And I will turn it back over to you, Mr. Chairman.
Anything for Karen? Okay. Do we have any other business other than executive session? Oh, I see Jason on.
Oh.
Jason, would you like to report for the KCCA? Is Jason on mute? We have Jason. Hey there, Jason, can you hear us?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, welcome.
Hello. Good. Sorry about that. I'm out of town right now and heading back toward the office. Well, we're as you can tell, we're just like SBE right now. All county clerks are busy getting all their ballots out and all the machines ready, and just gearing up for this election. It just seems like each day we get more tasks given to us, but we're going to make it work. We'll get through this, just like we did in the primary. We're all prepared. We all feel pretty confident this time. I think this one's, we're a little bit more at ease maybe at this general election than we were in the primary. But we're still being very careful and cautious and doing what we know we have to do according to the law to make this election accurate and
Well, thank you, Jason. Anything for Jason from the group? Okay, thanks a lot. That's good news.
Okay,
any
thank
other
you.
business? Thank you, Jason. Any other business?
Secretary?
Yes, sir.
This will be my last official meeting as the county clerk president, except for election day, which we'll be a little busy on. So I want to thank the board and thank SBE, everything you all have done through my year as president of the KCCA. And thank you all for the great working relationship that we have.
Well, thank you, Jason. You've been a great partner to me and to this board, and we're really grateful for the outstanding work you do in Anderson County, setting an example. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Sir. Okay, is there any other business before we move on to item 10? Okay, hearing none. We have on our agenda executive session pursuant to KRS 61.810(1)(z), discussion of pending litigation, and KRS 61.810(1)(m), discussion of security matter. Do we have a motion to go into executive session?
Okay.
Member Lewis, do we have a second? Member Johnson, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed.
Aye.
Okay, we are moving into executive session. When we get out of this, the only item left is to confirm our next meeting date, which will be November 8th at 6 a.m. The meeting, the polls open on election day, and then we'll adjourn. That will be it. So for any folks joining us, thank you for viewing. When we come back out of executive